So Jim, cybersecurity has become such an important issue and a growing issue. It's, these hackers are getting more and more sophisticated. They don't just attack small businesses, they attack large businesses, they attack schools, kids hack in at schools. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on with cybersecurity. So I know you're starting this wonderful class at TMCC, but let's talk a little bit about what cybersecurity is, what kind of stuff you're going to cover in the class, what makes you qualified to even teach this class. Just give us the broad overview.
So back in 1986, way back in 1986, my first computer was a Commodore 64. It ran specifically on DOS, and I had a TV as a monitor, and things were much different back then. Moving forward, I'd always been involved in computers, and then in 2000, I worked on starting a business that was a destination management company. And what they do is, if a large company like Sony or Microsoft come to town for meetings, you provide the entertainment and the transportation, everything that's involved with that. Well, I finally got my business license, and the next day was 9/11, and all traffic stopped. Business just almost completely shut down their travel. So from there, I spent about a year trying to keep the business alive and realized that I wanted to start a different business, but I wanted something that would be terrorist-proof. So then I went back to school for computers because I already had an interest in them. And from there I took back then they used to call it Hardware Plus and Software Plus, CompTIA courses. They're now called A+. Then from there I went and did the Cisco Systems Networking Administrator, and then I followed that with Microsoft Certified System Engineer classes. Then I just kind of went on hiatus. I opened my computer business and I didn't do a lot of studying, and I got a little bit complacent and everything seemed great. And then I realized that as the security stuff was happening, more of my clients were being affected. I was being affected. Everybody's affected pretty much. And so I started to become passionate about cybersecurity. So in 2014, I believe, I started studying up for a Security Plus exam, which is the first of a couple more certifications I want to get. But I also did the Network Plus certification because cybersecurity and network security go hand in hand. You need to know both. So I did those classes, I went and got the certification, and now I'm currently working on my Certified Ethical Hacker class, which I'll hopefully take this summer. And then I'm going to follow that with Certified Information Systems Security Professional, and that's the highest level you can get.
So tell me about the class at TMCC. So this is for what type of a person, business should be interested in coming and taking this class?
Well, the name of the class is Cybersecurity for Your Business. But everything I'm going to teach applies to your home network also. It's going to cover it's going to be a four-hour classes taught in September.
So 16 hours total.
16 hours total. It's the whole month of September, each Saturday, I believe, in September after Labor Day. The first hour of the class is going to be basic networking, because if you don't understand the fundamentals of how networks work, you're not going to understand the rest of it. Then that's going to be followed by 7 hours over 2 weekends of teaching you hacking. What hackers do, why they do it. It's going to teach reconnaissance, because when hackers do things, they don't just hack. There's a system that they use, and it starts with reconnaissance. So, for example, if you were hiring and you needed somebody who knew Cisco networking equipment, you would put that in your ad. Well, if I was doing reconnaissance on your business, I would look to see who you're hiring. All of a sudden, you will have just told me that you have Cisco system equipment. So
that made it that much easier for you to hack my system.
Exactly. So one of the things that's pretty interesting about this class, and hacking in general, or security in general, is that for small businesses, 60% of the people that get hacked are out of business within 6 months, and the average cost is $690,000.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's dangerous out there,
and people really think that hackers only target big places like Target, and big superstores, but that's not really the case.
It's not. They pretty much will attack anybody. They want the low-hanging fruit is the easiest to get, but it doesn't pay the most. So that's where they go after the big businesses. So part of what happens is when they go in and they look to do reconnaissance, one of the things they look at is your employees. Because 52% of all hacking that is successful happens through the employees, through social engineering. So somebody might find a flash drive in a parking lot and pick it up and plug it in their computer. Somebody else might click a link on an email. There's just so many different ways that people are vulnerable without even realizing it. A common one is when you go into a secured area, if somebody has their hands full, it's natural for us to want to help them and hold the door for them. Unfortunately, we just let somebody into a secured area that doesn't belong there. So we've all made those kind of mistakes, and part of this is to train you not to do those things and what to look out for.
Yeah, another real common one is getting rid of a computer that hasn't completely been wiped clean. You sell it used and your information's still on it, and that's another one that I know a lot of people don't think about. So up here at the school where we're at, this is such a beautiful place. I mean, the snow, it's beautiful up here in Squaw Valley, but one of the things that you're doing here in this area, of course, there's a lot of kids here, and kids like to show off their hacking skills, of course. Sure. So you've really started a new focus on your business that involves schools.
I have. So when you get a job working at a school like this, which I don't technically work for the school, I work for my own business, of course, but I come up here and I maintain the system for the school. This is an international boarding school for high school students. So these kids are not only smart, they're used to hacking. When they come from China, that's the only way they get to the whole internet is by hacking to get out.
And so, most of the kids here are international.
Yes, they are. Very few American students probably. So they already come with hacking skills. So then there's a constant battle of me fighting with them to keep our network secure and them attempting to hack it, which is what high school kids do. You know, they always want to test the limits. So
I think they want to prove they're smarter than us.
Well, many times they are. So when we came to this school, it was not in very good shape. They were paying for 20 meg service. They were getting about 3. The networking equipment was old. It hadn't been maintained. So what we did, we came in, even though they didn't get much internet, we came in and we put in all new gigabit switches, a brand new gigabit firewall, new cabling. We did everything.
Too much information.
That's right. We just made everything faster. And so what happened was about 6 months after we did the installation, then AT&T managed to put in fiber optics. So all of a sudden they went to 50 meg service. Well, our network that we designed was already ready for that. And then about 6 months ago, they went up to 100 meg service. Well, we're ready for that too. We built this system to be 5 to 8 years in the future ready. And so that just saves a lot on expenses. You know, just trying to constantly repair something just doesn't work.
So as a business owner, this stuff is really interesting to me, and I could probably talk to you about it for days, but unfortunately we can't do that. So I will just give you a shameless plug. Most of you know I own a business-to-business office supply company, and Jim at 775PC has been our IT guy from the very beginning. I mean, you set up our networks the day we opened. You've been maintaining them for 5 years for us, and we have not been hacked. So good job, good job. Okay, so TMCC has the class on their schedule. Hopefully you can sign up for it there, maybe on their website. We'll put some information out on our Facebook page as well to let people know how to get to the class. Thank you so much. I know it's, you know, some people don't find this stuff super interesting, but it's important and it's necessary to be aware. So I appreciate you coming down and educating all of our viewers on some of the new stuff out there and some ways to protect themselves.
Well, thank you for having me.